My best friend's husband is cheating, but she'll hate me if I tell her. I wasn't even supposed to be in that part of town. My dentist canceled on me last minute, and since I was already halfway across the city and had an hour to kill, I figured I'd grab a coffee and answer some emails. That's how I ended up at this little corner cafe I hadn't been to in years. One of those places with exposed brick walls, indie music playing too low to hear, and a barista with a man bun and 4 rings on each hand. I ordered my usual iced Americano, light ice, and sat by the window. It was a quiet afternoon. Just me, 2 college girls talking about someone named Connor, and a guy with a MacBook who looked like he was writing the next great American novel. I was halfway through deleting spam from my inbox when I saw him. Derek. At first, I didn't register it. You know how your brain tries to protect you from the worst things? I thought maybe it was someone who looked like him. Similar jacket, similar walk. But then he turned, and I saw his face. My best friend's husband. Derek. Married to Emma for 3 years, together for 8. I've known her since we were 13. And he wasn't alone. The girl he was with? Maybe mid-20s, long black hair, sharp cheekbones, a huge laugh that made people look over. She touched his arm a lot, and he didn't pull away. In fact, he leaned in. I kept telling myself maybe it was a cousin, maybe a coworker, maybe I didn't know what I was seeing. But then they kissed. Right there, in broad daylight. Not a quick peck, either. Full on, hand on her waist, the kind of kiss that says this has been going on for a while. I felt my heart drop into my stomach. They left 10 minutes later, arm in arm. I snapped a picture with my phone. Not sure why. Instinct, I guess. Proof. Because I knew the second I told Emma, she'd need more than my word. Not because she doesn't trust me, but because she loves him. And love makes you blind in the worst ways. I sat there for a long time, just staring at the screen, at the blurry photo of Derek with not Emma. I thought about sending it to her then and there. But I didn't. I still haven't. And I don't know if that makes me a coward, or a good friend. The next time I saw Emma, I almost threw up. She invited me over for wine and sushi the night after I saw Derek. Just the 2 of us, like old times. We've been doing that since college. Bad day at work, tough breakup, PMS meltdown? One of us shows up with tempura and a bottle of cheap red. I nearly bailed. I stared at her name lighting up my phone for a solid 10 minutes, thinking, just cancel. Say you're sick. But I didn't. I told myself maybe I'd find the right moment to bring it up. Or maybe I needed to see her in person first. Something about looking your best friend in the eye just makes everything feel more real. When I got to her apartment, she was already barefoot, hair in a messy bun, grinning like nothing in the world was wrong. And there he was. Derek. Sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone like he wasn't a cheating piece of trash. Hey! Look who finally decided to show up, he said, smirking at me like always. And I smiled back. Fake, tight, way too forced. Emma didn't notice. She was already uncorking the wine and joking about her boss being a walking HR violation. I couldn't stop watching him. Every time he reached for his glass, every time he laughed at something she said, it made my stomach twist. How could he sit there and pretend? How could he touch her shoulder like he hadn't kissed another woman yesterday? And worse, how could I pretend, too? We ate. We talked. I nodded and smiled at the right times. I even laughed once when Emma said something dumb about a guy at her gym who thinks deodorant is optional. But the entire time, my brain was screaming, tell her. Tell her now. Show her the photo. Blow it all up. But I didn't. Because every time I looked at her, really looked at her, I saw someone who was happy. Content. Someone who believed she had a husband who loved her. And I was about to be the one to take that away. After dinner, Derek left for some late-night work call and kissed her on the cheek. She blushed. I almost said something right then. But instead, I helped her clean up, gave her a hug, and said I was tired. She texted me 10 minutes later. Thanks for coming. Love you. You're my favorite person, always Redheart. I stared at that message for a long time. And then I opened my camera roll, stared at the photo of Derek and the girl at the cafe, and deleted it. I don't know why. Maybe because if it wasn't there, I could pretend it didn't happen. Maybe because I was scared she wouldn't believe me. Or worse, that she would. I honestly thought deleting the photo would help me move on. Like if the evidence was gone, maybe the guilt would fade with it. It didn't. If anything, I started seeing Derek everywhere. Not literally, I mean in my head. Every time my phone buzzed, I thought it might be him texting me, somehow knowing what I'd seen. Every time Emma mentioned him, I flinched. I kept waiting for something to happen, for the other shoe to drop. And then, it did. Sort of. A week later, I met up with Maya, one of our mutual friends. She's always been kind of an outsider in our little group, knows just enough to be included, but not enough to really be in the inner circle. We met for lunch because she wanted to vent about her roommate, but about halfway through the conversation, she changed tone. You're close with Emma, right? I paused, heart rate instantly doubling. Yeah. Why? Maya fiddled with her straw. Okay, this is probably nothing. Like, nothing. But I saw Derek last week. Tuesday, I think? He was at that little place by 6th and Fremont. You know the cafe with the dumb poetry nights? I froze. That's weird, I said, trying to stay cool. I was there Tuesday too. Her eyes widened. No way. Did you see him too? I nodded slowly. Yeah. With a girl. Maya leaned in. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Because they were definitely flirting. I didn't want to assume anything, but it felt off. I was gonna text Emma, but I didn't want to be that person. You didn't take a picture, did you? I asked, instantly regretting how desperate I sounded. No, why? I stared down at my salad like it might help me disappear. I deleted mine. She blinked. Wait, you had one? So you think it was something sketchy? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Maya just sat back, lips pursed. Damn. That sucks. And then, the words I'd been dreading. Are you going to tell her? I didn't know what to say. I still don't. Because here's the thing, if it were just me who saw him, I could bury it, pretend I misread the situation. But now? Now there's someone else. Someone else who saw the cracks. And if Maya saw it too, how many other people have? How long can I keep this secret before someone else tells her first? And what happens if she finds out I knew, and said nothing? I didn't tell her. After the lunch with Maya, I went home, stared at the ceiling for 2 hours, then paced around my apartment like I was waiting for a tornado. My chest was tight the whole day, like I was wearing a shirt 2 sizes too small. I kept thinking, what if Maya says something? What if someone else saw him? What if Emma already knows and is just waiting to see who cracks first? I still said nothing. That Friday night, Emma called me around 10 p.m. I was already in bed, half watching some comfort show I'd seen 100 times, trying to distract myself from the hurricane in my brain. When I saw her name on my phone, I almost didn't pick up. But I did. She didn't say hi. No joke. She started the conversation with 5 words. Do you know anything, Lex? Her voice was shaky. Tight. A little bit hoarse like she'd been crying. My stomach dropped. I sat up in bed. About what? Don't play dumb, she said, and her voice cracked. There was this long silence. I didn't even know what expression was on my face, I just remember gripping my sheets like they were going to fly away. Finally, she said, I found a receipt. From some cafe on Fremont. 2 drinks. A croissant. Paid at 3:18 p.m. Tuesday. He said he was in a meeting across town. And I know he's not the kind of guy to randomly stop for overpriced pastries on the other side of the city. I didn't know what to say. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. I also found a hair tie in his coat pocket, she added, quieter this time. Not mine. I exhaled, slow and shaky. Emma. Just tell me. She was begging now. Please. I'm not asking you to protect me. I just need to know. And there it was. The moment I'd been avoiding. The moment that would either save or ruin everything. I swallowed hard. I saw him, I said. Last Tuesday. At the cafe. With a woman. I didn't want to believe what I saw. I took a picture and deleted it. I didn't know what to do, Em. I didn't want to hurt you. Silence. Like actual, echoing silence. I could hear her breathing. I could hear my own heartbeat thudding in my ears. Finally, she whispered, "Why didn't you tell me right away?" And I didn't have a good answer. Because the truth is, I was scared. Of her pain. Of the fallout. Of being the person who shattered her illusion. I was trying to protect you, I said, which sounded so hollow as soon as the words left my mouth. Then she said something that gutted me. You were trying to protect yourself. And then she hung up. After she hung up, I stared at my phone for 10 full minutes, just willing it to ring again. But it didn't. She didn't text. Didn't call. Didn't even pop up on Instagram like she usually does late at night when she can't sleep. Radio silence. The next morning, I debated driving to her place. I even got as far as putting on jeans, which, if you know me, is serious. But something stopped me. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was shame. Maybe it was the very real possibility that she wouldn't even open the door. Instead, I did the cowardly thing, I waited. 2 days passed. No word from Emma. No word from Derek. It felt like I was suspended in this horrible in-between, like I'd jumped off a building and hadn't hit the ground yet. Then on Sunday, I got a text. Just one. Come over. Please. That was it. No emojis. No punctuation. Just flat, emotionless words. I was there in 20 minutes. When she opened the door, she looked calm. Not like okay calm, more like the kind of calm you see right before someone loses it. Her eyes were swollen. She had the dead behind the eyes look I've only seen on people who've cried themselves empty. I stepped inside. Her place was spotless. Like uncomfortably clean. The kind of clean that screams, I needed control over something, anything. Want to sit? She asked. Her voice was distant. I nodded. We sat on the couch for a minute, both of us staring at the coffee table like it was going to explain the universe. Then she handed me a manila envelope. What's this? I asked. Proof, she said. I hired someone. I blinked. You what? Private investigator, she said, like she was telling me what she had for lunch. Just for a few days. Figured if I was going to destroy my life, I might as well be thorough. Inside the envelope were photos. Dozens. All of them of Derek. Different days. Different women. Sometimes in his car. Sometimes at restaurants. One in what looked like a hotel lobby. I thought it was just one girl, I whispered. Emma laughed. It wasn't a real laugh, it was bitter, raw. So did I. That's the part that hurt the most, honestly. I could maybe convince myself it was a one-time thing. A moment of weakness. But this? This is a hobby. I wanted to say something comforting. Something meaningful. But all I could think was, I let this go on. Then she said, I'm not telling him I know. That caught me off guard. Wait, what? I'm not confronting him, she repeated. Not yet. Why not? She looked me dead in the eye. Because I want him to think everything is fine. I want him to be comfortable. And then I'm going to ruin him. I didn't know what to say. I'd never seen her like this. Emma's the girl who once cried for a week after stepping on a bird's wing by accident, was planning a full-on, calculated revenge. And honestly? I wasn't even mad. I should have stopped her. That's the part one keep coming back to. Sitting here now, watching everything unravel from the sidelines, I should have said something when she told me what she was going to do. But in that moment, I just nodded. Because I was angry, too. Emma's quiet phase lasted exactly 4 days. 4 days of pretending nothing was wrong. 4 days of morning kisses, casual texts, and "how was your day, babe," over dinner. She played it so well that Derek had no idea the bomb under his life had already started ticking. Then she started the unraveling. It began with the joint credit card. She called the bank, froze the account, and opened one in her name only. Then she went through the last 6 months of statements and flagged every sketchy purchase he tried to hide. Turns out, Derek was real bad at covering his tracks. Hotel bars, ride-shares to weird addresses, even a recurring charge from an anonymous wellness club, which we now know is code for something else entirely. She printed it all and stored it in a neat little file labeled "Exit Strategy." But that was just phase 1. Phase 2 involved me, and that's when I started to get nervous. "I need your help," she said one night. "Just a favor." I didn't like the look in her eyes. "Derek's got a work event this weekend. The usual crowd, drinks, donors. I need you to go." "Why?" "Because he always gets flirty at those things. I want to see if he takes the bait." "You want me to trap him?" Emma shrugged. "I just want to know what he'll do." "You're pretty." "He's slime." "It's not that complicated." I stared at her like she was speaking another language. "Emma, that's not. I don't want to be a part of." "I need to know if he's the kind of man who would hit on my best friend," she said. "Because if he is, I'm not just leaving. I'm burying him." I should have said no. I know I should have. But part of me, some vindictive, messed up part, wanted to see how far he'd go. So I went. The event was at a rooftop bar downtown. Fancy people, plastic smiles, overpriced drinks. Derek spotted me within 5 minutes. "Lex," he said, grinning, holding a whiskey in one hand. "Didn't know you were on the guest list." Emma said I should stop by. I lied smoothly. "Thought I'd check it out." He offered me a drink. We chatted. He leaned in too close. Complimented my dress twice. Asked if I was seeing anyone. I said no. Then he said, "Crazy how we've known each other this long, and never had a proper night out. Just us." I smiled. Forced. "Yeah. Crazy." He touched my elbow. "We should change that." And that was the moment I realized Emma was right. He wasn't just a cheater. He was bold about it. Reckless. Entitled. I excused myself to the bathroom, texted Emma one word. "Confirmed." She replied with a thumbs-up emoji. But now I'm scared. Because if this was her testing phase, what comes next? And how far is she really willing to go? After the rooftop event, things moved fast. Emma went into full-on precision mode. She had a checklist, color-coded folders, even a burner phone. I'm not kidding, an actual burner phone like we were in some kind of spy movie. I told her she was being dramatic. She told me she was being prepared. "This isn't revenge," she said one night, eyes bloodshot from zero sleep. "This is justice." That should have been my cue to pull the ripcord and back out. But I didn't. I kept getting pulled deeper, like I was tethered to her spiral. And honestly, I wanted to be there. I wanted to see the moment she took him down. I think I needed it, too, to justify how long I kept my mouth shut. Then she crossed the line. It started with a rumor. She made a fake email account and sent an anonymous tip to Derek's employer. Something vague but poisonous. Just enough to get eyes on him. Possible conflict of interest, she said. Undisclosed relationship with a client. She even included screenshots of texts between Derek and one of the women the PI had caught, an actual client, by the way. That could ruin his career, I said, eyes wide. Good, she said, not even blinking. A week later, he was pulled into an internal review. 2 days after that, he was suspended. No details. Just a company-wide email about temporary leave. Emma didn't gloat. She just got quieter. Like she was watching a building crumble and had no reaction left. Then came the account wipe. Joint savings? Emptied into an account under her name. Legally, she had every right. Derek didn't even notice. She told him she was transferring funds for a home renovation. He believed her. This man still had no clue what was coming. And then she used my name. Without asking. Without warning. I got a call from my own HR department. They'd received a complaint. Something about inappropriate behavior at a company-sponsored event. I was floored. I knew it had to be from Derek's camp, but I hadn't even interacted with anyone from my job that night. Turns out, Emma had dropped my name in one of her anonymous messages, trying to make it look like Derek was covering for someone else by blaming me. A distraction tactic. And it worked. But it also backfired. Because now I was under review, and I had no idea what she'd actually said. I confronted her that night. What the hell, Emma? She barely looked up from her laptop. You'll be fine. It's just noise. No, it's my job. You dragged me into this without telling me. She sighed. I didn't think you'd mind. You didn't think, period. That got her attention. Her face hardened. You're only in this mess because you waited weeks to tell me the truth. If you'd said something sooner, none of this would have been necessary. Her words hit like a slap. And maybe she was right. But still, this wasn't okay. I wanted to help you, Emma. I still do. But I can't let you burn everything down and drag me into the fire. She looked at me, dead calm. Then get out of the way. The morning it all blew up, it was weirdly quiet. Like the air knew something was about to snap. Derek called me at 9:42 a.m. That's burned into my brain because I stared at my screen for a full minute before answering, wondering if I had it in me to lie again. I didn't. Lex, he said, already stressed. Did Emma say anything to you? She's not answering my calls. Something's going on. I didn't know what to say, so I just said, I think you should talk to her. He swore under his breath. Something's wrong. I got called into another HR meeting this morning, now they're talking about legal counsel. Do you know what the hell is happening? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because I knew exactly what was happening. Emma had timed it perfectly. At 10:03 a.m., Derek got served divorce papers at work. At 10:07 a.m., Emma posted a photo on Instagram. Just a plain white background with one sentence typed out. Loyalty is only beautiful when it goes both ways. And then the stories started. I don't know if it was Emma who leaked everything or someone she sent the file to, but within hours, screenshots of Derek's texts, photos from the PI, and even the fake receipts from the cafe were circulating. It was like watching someone get digitally exiled in real time. People who used to gush over their relationship were now unfollowing him. One of his clients made a statement. His company put him on indefinite unpaid leave. His reputation? Gone. Just gone. But the part that really messed me up? Emma sent me a box. No note. No explanation. Just a small cardboard box left on my doorstep. Inside was the burner phone and a flash drive. When I plugged it into my laptop, there were two things. A folder labeled Truth, with everything she'd collected on Derek, organized, timestamped, neatly labeled. A voice memo. A single message, about 2 minutes long. I played it. Her voice was calm. Tired. A little hoarse. You were right to be mad. I used you. And I crossed lines you didn't sign up for. I won't ask for forgiveness, I know I don't deserve it. But I do want you to know this, I loved him. God, I loved him so much. And watching him destroy that made me feel like I was disappearing. So I took something back. I took me back. I just hope you don't disappear in the process. Take care of yourself, Lex. You were a better friend than I was. That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't seen her since. She moved out of their apartment. Deleted all her socials. Maya said she might have left town entirely, and honestly, I hope she did. I hope she found somewhere quiet to breathe again. As for Derek? I hear he's trying to rebuild. He's posting motivational quotes on LinkedIn now, which would be hilarious if it weren't so pathetic. And me? I'm still sorting through the wreckage. My HR thing blew over barely. But things at work feel different now. I feel different now. Sometimes I wonder if we all lost ourselves in this. If being right was worth what we burned. But most of all, I wonder this. Is justice supposed to feel this empty?